Hey guys, welcome to the video. This is part 10 of my One Piece overview, and today we're going to be going over Thriller Bark, 46, volume 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. This one is technically labeled as Sabaody, but at half of this is still Thriller Bark, and so yeah, I'm going to be going over these 5 volumes today. So, question of the day. What is the most heartbreaking backstory in One Piece? And I say this because Thriller Bark isn't the best in people's minds, I think. But the one thing that really brings this arc together is Brook, for sure. So, my question is, what is the most heartbreaking backstory? And for me personally, I don't know, man. There's a lot of heartbreaking backstories. There's a ton of them. I want to say maybe Robin. Robin's backstory was really a lot to take in. So yeah, as always, I'll go ahead and show you guys the volume covers. This is volume 46. This is volume 47. And volume 48. Volume 49. And volume 50, which kicks off Sabaody officially. So, I know a lot of people don't really like Thriller Bark, so I don't think I'm gonna go too in depth into this arc. There are some things that I want to talk about. But let me know what you guys think about Thriller Bark. I honestly really did like Thriller Bark. It was really fun, and I think I watched it during. No, I think I watched it during July. I was gonna say like I watched it during October. That would have been really cool though to watch it during October. It was a lot of fun, and I think it's like peak One Piece humor for me because it was really funny. So let's go ahead and take a look at volume 47. And I think this is going back to Blackbeard and Ace's fight. And I think it's really crazy how much Blackbeard was set up as the main antagonist. I wasn't so sure about that until Marineford. And I didn't know who exactly would have been the main antagonist. And I think for sure, especially now, what's been happening in the manga, Blackbeard is definitely going to be the main villain towards the end. And, of course, Blackbeard turns in... I think at this point he already had... I don't know if he had warlord status, but he turned in Ace to the government, and they imprisoned him. So... the Straw Hats, they're heading off to the next island. I think they're trying to get to Fishman Island, actually. And there's a lot of setup for Fishman Island. And then they get caught up in Thriller Bark, and then Sabaody, and then, you know what happens during Sabaody. And then, of course, there's Brook's very first introduction. Such an interesting character. I really like Brook. He was a good addition to the crew. And right off the bat, Luffy asks Brook to join his crew. That's so much fun. But yeah, what I was talking about earlier, it's definitely between Robin and Brook. And it kind of goes back and forth for me, honestly. And I love this part where Luffy right away he considers Brook a friend, and he decides to go get his shadow back from Gecko Moria. And I think it's really interesting that Thriller Bark is like an entire ship. It's not an island. So yeah, they head off to Thriller Bark. And then this was really funny. Where Luffy tries to tame the Cerberus. But yeah, I really like the Halloween theme in Thriller Bark. It's a lot of fun. And I want to see what you guys think of Gecko Moria. Like, do you think he's a good villain, or do you think he's too goofy? Because I thought he was kind of like this was really creepy. I do not like Absalom. I think I skipped it before, but that part where he licks Robin, that was really gross. But yeah, I don't Gecko Moria is kind of cool, I guess. I think this is the first part where they show him off. Maybe? Oh, no, not yet. But yeah, there's not much to talk about. The only things I really remember... Oh, there he is. And it's so weird to see how he looked like before. Like, he could hold his own against Kaido. I wonder what happened to him. And then Perona. So yeah, I'm going to kind of speed through this arc, because there's not a lot that I really want to talk about. I do want to talk about Usopp's fight against Perona. That was really fun. But aside from that, there's not much I really cared for, to be honest. Thriller Bark did kind of drag on. I think it lasted like 50 episodes, and it took me about a week to finish it. So I was kind of like, I don't really want to. But I got through it eventually. Thriller Bark was a lot of fun. I feel like it's probably right next to Long Ring Longland in terms of like the weakest arcs, to be honest. And sorry if Thriller Bark fans, if that offends you, but that's just my personal opinion. I really like the Halloween theme and everything, but paired up against Marineford, I think I'm probably gonna have to do Marineford in 2 parts, because there's a ton to talk about. But yeah, and this is a really interesting thing about Thriller Bark. Oars, the continent puller. Some people think that Oars back in the day pulled Wano into one country. Oh, I think this is the fight between Perona and Usopp. that was so funny, man. Oh, Ryuma. Ryuma was so cool in this arc. I completely forgot about Ryuma. Oh, and then Brook's connection with Laboon. There's a lot of good things about this arc. But yeah, Usopp's fight with Perona, Brook and Laboon, Ryuma, and Zoro's moment at the end. So that's those are some things I want to talk about. There's volume 48, and this is the arc where Wano was first mentioned. What chapters do these have? Let me see. It should say somewhere. Chapter 470, like 500 chapters almost before they they get to Wano. That is insane setup, man. I've said it before, but Oda's a master at storytelling, and it's crazy how he can incorporate his style, like his long-term style of storytelling. It's amazing. He's really good at what he does. And this was so funny, man. that Perona's negative hollows don't work on Usopp because he's already so negative all the time. And then Perona pulls that classic Anal face. Yeah, that was my one of my favorite moments in the arc. And then, of course, Zoro's fight with Ryuma, where he gets Enma. But yeah, most of this, Sanji's fight was okay, I guess. I still think his fight against Jabra is his best fight in the entire series. It was so cool, man. But yeah, Usopp had something to do in this arc, which was really good because I really do like Usopp. Some people don't like him, but I like him. And then there's that fight between Zoro and Ryuma. Zoro defeats Ryuma, and he considers him worthy to hold that legendary sword. Or was it Enma? I don't think it was Enma. It was Shisui. Shisui? No, Enma was the sword that he got from Oden. Oh well. Well, he got that sword from Ryuma. So yeah, I also wanted to talk about ores and what his meaning is in this arc. And I think it's really telling that the Straw Hats, they need like all of their forces put together just to take down one guy, and that hadn't happened before. And I think they should have taken that as a sign that they weren't ready for the new world, and that's exactly what happened at Sabaody. Sabaody was really heartbreaking, man. Like, I knew there were hundreds of more episodes about the Straw Hats, so I knew they weren't gonna really be killed or whatever. But that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh my god, what's happening? But we'll get to that in the next video where I cover Sabaody. And then there's Lola. I didn't really care for most of this, to be honest. I was just waiting for it to be over because I knew there was a huge payoff. I just had to keep chugging. Oh, and then there's Kuma. Oh, Kuma was so, like, threatening because I didn't know that he was technically a good guy. But especially after what's been happening in Egghead, you can definitely figure out why he's doing all of this, and especially for what he did in Sabaody. But yeah, they're trying to take out ores, and none of them can do it by themselves until Luffy, he shows up with all those shadows inside of him, and he gets that Nightmare Luffy form. But yeah. Oh, and I forgot to talk about Gecko Moria's Devil Fruit, which was really cool. I think it's a really interesting Devil Fruit, that he has control over shadows and stuff. Luffy versus Luffy. Oh, and there's Nightmare Luffy. Sorry if you guys like Thriller Bark. It's just I kind of felt it was a pain to get through. And there's only a couple moments that I really remember from this arc. Oh, and then what's this mess? You can't even tell what's going on here. It's a storyboard. I think they defeat Ors. It takes all of them. It takes all of their efforts. And then they still have to defeat Gecko Moria, where he sucks up all the shadows. So yeah, there's Naruto. I'll talk about this at the end of the video, but I'm deciding on 2 different series to do for, I guess like season 2 of this series. But we'll talk about that right now. So here's volume 50. It's technically Sabaody, but I think most of it is Thriller Bark. Like right here is when they finally head off to Sabaody. So most of it is Thriller Bark. So this is volume 50. Oh, that's a really cool spread. But yeah, I feel like they should have taken their struggle as a sign. But I think Luffy's character flaw is that he's too ambitious, or that, and that he craves companionship, you know? And he's very dependent on his friends, which is a good thing, because that's the meaning of One Piece. But at the same time, I feel like you have to believe in your own strength, right? And it really hurts because he's so helpless during Sabaody. But I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, they're all beat up and everything, and Kuma shows up, and oh my god. When Kuma showed up, I was like, oh jeez, something bad's gonna happen. And I completely forgot about Zoro's moment in this arc. And he's the only one that can hold his own against Kuma. And that's why he feels it's necessary to do what he does in this arc. And I talked about this way back during East Blue, but this is definitely Zoro's best moment in the entire series. So the Straw Hats each have their own dream, and that's what they're striving towards, right? Zoro wants to be the world's greatest swordsman. Sanji wants to find the All Blue. Usopp wants to become a brave warrior of the sea. Luffy is the man who will become king of the pirates, right? And I think this is a really good moment for Zoro, because I think it's what chapter is it? It's not this one just yet, but I think it's the next one. Oh, what chapter is it? Dang it. Hold on. I think it's this one? Squish. No, not yet. Something about his dream. The end of the dream right here. And that's pertaining to Zoro's dream of becoming the world's greatest swordsman. That definitely is still his dream, but he has to be worthy of becoming that. And it's at this moment where he forgets about his dream, and a new dream starts to show itself. And it's a dream that's shared between all of the Straw Hats. And he doesn't think he should, right? It's because he knows he's the only one that can sacrifice himself. And thank God that he survived. And a lot of people think that Zoro and Sanji really do hate each other, but I think this is a really good moment that shows that they do care about each other. Sanji is definitely worried about Zoro. And he comes in and he's like, "What's with all this blood?" And he's asking him if he's still alive and what happened. And Zoro, that super famous scene, he says nothing at all. Nothing happened. So that's a really good scene, man. One of the best scenes in the entire series. And then they have their banquet and everything, and Brook's backstory. That's so heartbreaking, man. It is one of the sadder stories, the sadder backstories in the series. And I love the Binks booze. And their final performance between the Rumbar Pirates. So yeah, there's the song, and I forgot where I heard this, but apparently Oda wrote it to be sung like a sea shanty. So it goes, "Gather up all of the crew. It's time to ship up Binks's brew. Sea wind blows to where who knows the waves will be our guide. Or across the ocean's tide, the sunset is going wild. See the sky, birds singing in circles passing by." Well, I'm not gonna sing the whole thing, but it was definitely meant to sound that way, and I think that's really nice. That's a really good detail. So yeah, Brook finally joins the crew after everything that happened in Thriller Bark. And Brook's dream is to finally get back to Laboon at the end of their journey. So yeah, that was Thriller Bark. That honestly, I do really like Thriller Bark. It has a special place in my heart. I know some people don't like it, but I think it's really special. And Brook does a lot to do that. So that was part 10. And I wanted to thank you guys for 20 subscribers. I know I'm kind of late and I have a little bit more. But thank you to anybody who's watching, who's actually subscribed. It means a lot because I'm just doing this because I'm bored, because I have so much spare time. But yeah, thank you for 27, 28 subscribers, I think. But yeah, the question of the day: what is your most heartbreaking backstory in One Piece? For me right now, it definitely has to be Robin's. That's it's really painful for me to go back and read it. But it goes back and forth between Brook and Robin. But yeah, what is your favorite or your most heartbreaking backstory in One Piece? And for season 2 of this series, I was thinking between Full Metal Alchemist, like the manga, or maybe Naruto. I'm kind of leaning towards Full Metal Alchemist because it's a shorter series, and I can do it in maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 parts. I'm not sure just yet, but yeah. I feel like Full Metal Alchemist speaks a lot more to me personally, but just let me know what you guys want, Full Metal Alchemist or Naruto, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm going to be covering Sabaody and nearing the halfway point of the series. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.